I am Scott Stimson. This is the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm from International Computer Solutions. Welcome and thank you for joining us this morning on our regular Tuesday meeting. And I was just mentioning to Bill that I am still not doing in-person meetings. Last week, I went to try and have the first in-person meeting, and Jonathan explained to me that they were missing internet since the storm prior, and that it was supposed to be back up in his area by this week. I talked to him yesterday, and he said, yeah, we're all good to go. Internet's up, everything's up. And then this weekend, we had a tremendous storm that flooded out my house as well as many of other places. And Jonathan this morning told me that they have no electricity in the area that we're going to meet. Concerned about having a display available for us. And I appreciate his concern, but like I said, I'm more concerned that it's so moist I don't want to plug any electricity into it. So we'll just wait a week because we won't get any more rain. It will dry out and be like kindling for a fire by the next time we're in there. So good morning. How are you folks doing?
Yeah, snow.
You're muted, aren't you?
I can hear.
Oh, you can hear? Sorry, I thought we were muted. We had snow for our Thanksgiving weekend. And I saw your picture this morning, Scott, of the rainbow over Tequilas.
Isn't that amazing?
It looks beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
I was driving back into town after dropping Viviana off at school, and I got to the intersection there where what does this keep switching over there? Where Santa Rosa's is. And I'm like, that's a once in a lifetime shot right there. I had to pull over and put my hazard lights on and take a picture.
There you go. No, it's very nice. So we're our last week. Well, hopefully. Well, 2 weeks from yesterday, we're supposed to be on the road and heading south. We've got all our reservations made. My passport came in a courier. Bill's is stuck in the Canada Post strike, which is they've gone back to rotating strikes, and so we expect sometime this week that his passport will show up. So.
Wow. And how are you feeling about driving through the United States these days?
We have a very limited time. We know that the United States have put a new policy in for us Canadians. When we get to the border, if we say that we are going to be in the United States for anything more than 30 days, they require us to pay a $30 each fee to fill in a form, and they will be watching everybody's documenting all of the stays and everything, which is kind of new for all the snowbirds that have been going for 6 months at a time or 4 months and things like that. So there's a pay. Oh, and you have to go in and you have to be fingerprinted, and it's all put into computers and stuff.
It's almost like you guys don't want us.
You know, Bill, it's funny you say that. I just watched the whole thing on Florida's tourist industry, which it never occurred to me how dependent parts of the United States were on Canadian snowbirds.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just like San Carlos, such a large portion of Florida's income comes from outside the country. I saw in this that they rely on Florida relies on around $33,000 a year for each Canadian tourist to come contribute. And they're just not there now. They found other places to go. Their beaches are empty. Their condos are for rent. There's property prices are dropping dramatically. Actually, there's still very expensive properties, but they're going to have to drop dramatically because they're just empty. They just don't have anybody.
Yeah. And the same thing goes in Yuma. There's a huge Canadian group there, And in
Arizona.
the Mesa, all of those small towns, they're ghost towns in the summer.
And
Yeah,
then in
yeah.
Palm Springs area, like California, a lot of people go between Palm Springs and Cathedral or whatever, and down to the Salton Sea. Like parts of California, Arizona are just really starving for.
Wild, yeah, and here in San Carlos rely on Canadians and strangers from other countries to come fill in the summer, and then the Mexicans, I'm sorry, in the winter, and then the Mexicans come and fill up the town in the summer. But COVID and restrictions to travel in the United States guaranteed that San Carlos would be full of Mexicans all year round because they bought vacationing property here. So all throughout the year, we've got traffic happening over here. And I bet the Canadians are just looking for the easiest way to get to Mexico from the United States, bypassing the United States at this point.
That's exactly right. There's a lot of them that now make plans to leave a vehicle down in Mexico, wherever they stay, and they fly over top. And they don't want to get involved in the States at all. Well, for example, my daughter used to give us a bad time about going to Mexico. Like, are you safe? Now it gives me a bad time about driving through the States.
Right, and another example is we have traditionally spent 4 or 5 weeks in the Las Vegas area, in Laughlin or in Vegas itself, and spending 5 nights.
Right, and Las Vegas is suffering tourism loss as well. Huge.
Well, you can see it up here. All these places, like we're getting all kinds of offers to come and visit in Vegas. We're all hungry, and same thing. Like they're down 30% Canadian visitors.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see over my shoulder there. I have put new seat covers on my Bocho seats. Beetle. They're back in the corner there.
Oh yeah.
I've got the Bocho gutted, and I'm just doing cleanups and repairs on the seat. Now that we have a reliable third car, I can put my my silly car out of commission for a while and do some repairs to it.
Well, see, you have the.
Bill, you're breaking up real bad for me, at least.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm hearing an echo.
Oh, you know what? It's probably, there we go. Hey, Mom. Welcome, Chester. Since you're in the same room as Dad, I think you guys got to just mute from time to time and only use one for speaker.
Anyway, I own a Volkswagen, a '53 Volkswagen, when I was going to university in Edmonton. In the winter, we're talking sometimes -40 Fahrenheit.
That doesn't sound pleasant. It sounds much more pleasant to be down in Mexico with a Volkswagen.
Yeah. Don't complain about Volkswagens. And this one had a gas heater in it. You guys don't even know what a gas heater is.
Not unless it's in a house.
No, it was in the Volkswagen. It was a gas. It ran straight off car gas and had a little spark plug igniter, and it was your heater after you ran out of that engine heater, which never worked anyway. You kick that in, and you could keep you warm in there, but not at -40. You were lucky if you could get it started in -40, because it had a small battery, 6-volt system in it, so it was even hard to start on a cool day.
I had to replace the battery in my Bug before I left, and I thought it was a rather large battery that they recommend putting in it. And I got back after it's sitting for 4 months, and it just turned right over.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's cool.
Yeah. You definitely want a good strong battery, and then the battery in a '53 used to be mounted inside the Volkswagen underneath the rear seat, And if you had lost the battery cover, and somebody heavy sat in the back seat, the springs would come down and short it out.
Right. Right. I'm here to say that in the 2001 Mexican Bug, the battery's in exactly the same place with exactly the same problem.
Yeah.
Probably least of the concern though, because the springs are up much higher, holding that horsehair up.
Now, and if you weren't careful, they were lead acid batteries with where you used to pour water into them to top them up. They weren't sealed, and if it overflowed, you ran the danger of the acid eating through the tin on the floor and a battery falling out if you weren't careful.
That's funny.
Wasn't funny if it happened on the road. Anyway, that's my Volkswagen story. I'm sticking to it.
All right. Well, once again, we're here to talk tech topics, and digressing like normal.
Yeah.
As I said at the top of our hour, I'm obviously sitting in my office. I'm not sitting in Tequilas because of the storms that have been going on. And I need to get my roof redone in this trailer/office because I found a half a dozen leaks this time around with the last storms we had. But Tequilas doesn't have electricity in the area that we meet, so we won't be there. In standard format, I did put together a document of possible topics, and I'll pass you guys in the group a link to it. If you don't have it open already, you can get to it from our chat. And even though I've provided a number of articles there that I thought would be interesting things for us to talk about, I am always more interested in what you guys want to talk about. So has anybody brought any tech topics to our table today? Anybody trying to solve a problem or using something that needs some support on? Want to share a silly tech story? Yeah, Bill?
Well, it's just an update. I have come to the conclusion that the microphone in my iPad is actually screwed up. There's something wrong with it. I've tried all kinds of things, and it it doesn't work at all. So that's my contribution to.
So do you still have Apple Care on it?
I know it's old.
Okay. Do you have Apple Care anywhere?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, and I don't know how Apple's behaving in that way. Back in the day, in the past, you could get people that would help you with one product if you had bought Apple Care on another product.
Yeah.
I don't know. The last Apple product we bought was Cheryl's iPhone, and that was a few years ago. How long ago?
I don't know.
And I don't know if we bought Apple Care even then. Who knows?
But
We're old. We don't remember things like
Yeah.
that.
less than 4 years, but I don't know how long Apple Care even would be.
Yeah.
Well,
And
also, you know what's Apple does that I think is really convenient is in the about of your product, it typically states whether it's still covered by something.
oh, I'll look.
Yeah, so if you thought that Cheryl's iPhone had Apple Care, then you could verify that by going into the settings. And in fact, I'm trying to bring it up on my phone right now. I think it is under... Yeah, there it is. It's under General in Settings. There's Apple Care and Warranty. When you go into that section, it will go online and check your product code and let you know whether you're still covered by something.
Coverage expires.
It also
No, it
lists
says expired.
all the other devices associated with your Apple account. And so if you're like me that have a half a dozen devices in your life, you can see if you've got coverage on all those other devices.
Open Apple support to see. Yeah. No, mine's expired.
And if you're also like me, you have a half a dozen devices that don't have coverage. So it just down the line it says coverage expired, coverage expired, coverage expired, coverage
Yeah.
expired.
It does.
Expired April of 24.
Yeah. So we're out of luck.
Yeah, so then you got to decide how much it's worth to you to try and get the microphone replaced. If I remember right, I think it's on the same board as the camera on your iPad. and it's more a matter of uncluing the screen. And the sad truth is, if it's of that age, it's probably a real challenging repair. Whereas the newer iPads now, by mandate, are a much less challenging repair. It's a more realistic to conceive of changing the microphone on a newer iPad than it is on those older ones. Probably still doable, but you would want to make, you're balancing the economy of replacing the microphone, the version of operating system you're compatible with right now. I mean, like, I wouldn't even consider it if you weren't within the latest operating system, because you're probably looking at a couple $100 to replace the mic in the first place. If it's not compatible with the latest operating system, what really is the point? And you can just Bluetooth a mic to it at any point. Microphone. I definitely feel differently about a product that is completely up to date and doing its job and working for you, and you have the inconvenience of having to pull out a microphone every time you want to use it. That, to me, that's part of that balancing that equation. How much is it worth to me, that inconvenience? And if it wouldn't support the latest operating system, then to me, right off the bat, that's a check not even to worry about trying to get it repaired.
Yeah, well, and the truth is, I do almost all of my internet stuff on the iPhone right now. Since we've moved, I hardly use the iPad, and I've only used my laptop once or twice. So it's really not worth it, no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, it might be reason to repurpose that pad for something else, like monitoring cameras or climate or smart home stuff. If it's capable of doing it, that might be a good use for it. Something that doesn't require teleconferencing. It doesn't require a microphone, basically.
Doesn't, yeah, and I'm pretty sure I can get along without it, because I've been 2-3 months now. I haven't used it, so I'm not too concerned.
Yeah, I actually recycled my own iPad this last summer in Alaska because battery completely died on it, and it was not running the latest operating. What it was doing is it was just sitting on a shelf, giving me access to the doorbell of the bed and breakfast. And when the battery completely died, but just the wind would blow and the thing would reboot. I'm like, this is more trouble than it's worth, so I just stuck it in a box.
Doorstop.
Yeah, it's just not worth fixing. It's amazing to have that much technology in such a little package, and something like a battery prevent you from taking it seriously.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not doing anything to it.
Yeah. Well, that's that's a usage, age, compatibility question. It's almost an equation that we should be writing now. How old it is versus how compatible it is versus how costly it is to repair should equal some standard of whether you're going to deal with it or try and recycle it. Well, if you guys are interested in any of my topics, this is the document I prepared for today. I'm just announcing this is our second meeting for what I call 2025-26. Any of the other information you've looked for in this kind of document has been relegated to the bottom of the document in an area called reoccurring themes. I'm not going to get into any of them because that's the reason I put them down there. Looking for any of that information, but this is our second meeting since I've gotten back. Started this new. Normally we'd be in Tequilas, but we're not. Also in this document, I have provided 4 different articles that I thought you guys might find interesting, and the first one is about smart asphalt, which seems so intuitive. I'm surprised this hasn't already happened in all industries, especially with the rise in Raspberry Pis and sensor collection And because what we're doing now is we're doing big data on, or crunching on the collection of data, because we have sensors everywhere. We have a generation of Raspberry Pi kind of support for things. We're watching sensor data be collected and stored from all kinds of different circumstances. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen this crop up yet. This is an article talking about a fabric that has been developed that can be interwoven in the asphalt. I'm sure this is a representation or the actual fabric that's available, that can be interlaced in the process of making a road, and then left with a monitoring unit so that you can determine the degradation of the road over time and climate. One of the key things that they state in this article is that this won't make the road last any longer, any more than it is providing better information on what causes the road to degrade in the first place. So we would be tracking things like storms and usage and climate over time as the road degrades, but we would also have the ability to see the road degrading and know those areas that go out and be repaired. I found this fascinating, and as you think about it, it's like, well, wait a second, now this starts to make sense. I've got holes in my roof. Wouldn't it make sense to have a fabric like this in your waterproofing, and you could sense whether moisture is coming through that waterproofing ahead of time? Make it part of your construction. I can even imagine you'd only have to add it once. After that, you're just pasting waterproofing over it, and you've got a sensor plugged into the mesh that's letting you know whether water's getting through or not.
There might be a huge market in the RV industry too. You put that in the roof of your motorhome to save from getting all kinds of water damage, which is very expensive in an RV.
Well, I also have to imagine that why wouldn't this be possible to add to like a fiberglass construction, like a boat hull? You could have this as just a sensor that's checking and seeing if any moisture is getting through the hull. Chester, I see your hand up. What would you like to contribute?
Well, two things. One is that I can recall many years ago that there was a product that was on the market and it was used for paving with asphalt. And it was a cloth that was put down in order to keep moisture from going underneath the asphalt. And they used that for many years. I know we did in the mining industry. It was a very important product. And the second comment, let's see, what was the last subject?
Well, we're still talking about this fabric, this smart fabric, and what you're saying makes it sound like they're already doing this process in construction of roads. They just need to swap out the material.
For many years. And the other point had to do with motorhomes, and I've had 6 of them. And the problem with the motorhome roof is usually the seams where things are joined. It's not a question of a fiberglass leaking. It's a question of where they're joined together. And they make a special product for that also. That is a tape. It's very expensive, but you can do all the seams on the roof of a motorhome and eliminate all those problems. And it's a one-sided glued tape. You might give some thought to it for your office there.
That's not a bad idea. What I'm going to do is goop the whole roof like it's a Mexican roof, because it's so old. This trailer is it's melting around me. And we've got an apartment plan we're starting on this year that would include a new office for myself. And so hopefully within the next year or two, we'll have something substantial. And I've got a feeling they're just going to pull this out piece by piece. I think it's on its last legs. It's definitely lasted longer than it was intended to. I've got a 20-year-old child that started out in this trailer. And it was old to begin with.
Is it a fiberglass top?
I think it is all plywood. Well, I think it's some sort of plywood with tar paper.
You know, rubber is often used,
Yeah.
and I've had trouble with rubber and motorhome roofs before, particularly with people walking on it.
Yeah. Well, you know what's ironic is that this waterproofing material that's very popular here in Mexico, they just slather it on these cement roofs. Whenever water's coming through, they slather it on. It's
I've used it.
you're familiar with what I'm talking about. So it's got like a 5-year warranty on it. I during COVID, I did this to my home roof, and this last storm is the first time water has started coming through. Like almost 5 years on the dot, it is starting to fail.
The other advantage is it's white, and that helps with the heat.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last product I used specifically had a reflective chemical in it, intended to reflect as much heat, heat creating light as possible at that time. Well, I think from what you're saying, Chester, it'd probably be very easy for them to incorporate this smart mesh into road construction. It sounds like what they need to do is make the waterproofing material that stops moisture from getting under the road, build this smart mesh into that, so that they just lay down one layer and they're able to monitor their roads.
I suspect they've already done that.
Well, it's currently being tested on an industrial road in Germany. I think this is really the forefront of this kind of technology. It's again, Chester. This isn't for waterproofing. This is for monitoring road conditions. It's smart mesh. The idea is a sensor. You're laying a fabric of sensor into your construction.
Sounds pretty dumb to me, and expensive.
You think it's dumb?
Dumb and expensive.
Well, maybe what we'll find is that just laying it down and monitoring it is a way of determining better construction technology or techniques. I mean, so like maybe we'll never see this come to fruition as a usable product by you and me, like a consumer product. But what they'll do is they'll use this technology to investigate better ways of building roads. So the scientists will take this mesh and they'll use different styles of concrete and asphalt, given different conditions, and use it to monitor and accumulate that data information so that it can be used when assessing how you should build and what materials you should build with, given certain climate and geographic location.
I would consider that typical German engineering. The same thing I would say about a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
You would never want to own a modern Volkswagen because of the engineering that's going into it. It'll eat you alive.
Well, again, I'm not proposing that this would be in every road. I'm proposing that scientists would use such material to determine how to build the best road, given the circumstances. But you know, on a side note, with the Volkswagen sedans that we were talking about earlier, I learned that you can drive your Volkswagen Beetle with only 4 fuses. Mom, did you want to contribute something? I saw you took your mute off.
Well, I was thinking that mesh road could be really helpful in climates like Alaska or Arizona, where it's such extreme climates. It could be really helpful for figuring out how to build roads.
Well, not only to help build roads, like you're saying, we've got such remote areas. There may be a road that people don't want to have to maintain until it has a problem. So maybe that road you put this kind of sensor system on so that you're flagged when you're going to have to start fixing the road, and you don't have to pay some state worker to go out there and survey it every year because it's out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know. I think it sounds very creative.
I have a question about AI.
Okay.
What's my question, Terry?
As long as you know
We
I'm
were
not the
talking
AI
about it
expert,
the other day.
I might reach over to this computer on my left and ask an AI your question. What's your question?
Well, I guess the first couple times I experimented with AI, which was quite a while ago now, it didn't cost anything. But I got ready to talk to.
Oh, you got muted there. You got ready to talk to what? And you're going to have to unmute.
So I guess our question was, do we have to pay to use AI?
No. No, I'm not sure what AI you're using, but all the AIs have a free tier that you can work under. So, like your Google account gives you access to Gemini, your Microsoft account gives you access to Copilot. These are available to you in their productivity software as well as just a straightforward interface. Copilot, I think the easiest way to get access to it is through an Edge browser. So if you're a Windows user, you've got it built right into your Windows operating system, Microsoft Edge web browser, and you'll find a Copilot. Well, and actually, now that I say that, they've got Copilot. If you're running Windows 11, Copilot is just integrated right into your operating system. You'd have a Copilot button there.
Oh.
And then Gemini, you can go to gemini.google.com and use Gemini right there using your Google account. These services like Gemini, I really am very well versed in Gemini, not so much in the other ones. I do use Copilot. I go back and forth between those two, but I don't spend a lot of time at GPT. The Open AI interface and offering, I don't spend a lot of time with that. I've never downloaded their application for my phone, but what I know about their free tier is that they give you credits. And if you use up those credits, then you're done using their service. Now, it seems like Gemini does the same thing. However, they give you a monstrous number of credits to the point where I have never used up my credits. When we first started using Chat GPT, doing that right? I'm saying that right. Yeah. OpenAI. I started on their website and immediately ran out of credits before the month was over and never went back. I don't know if any of that helps you understand what's going on with you.
Yes, I haven't tried it recently, so I was just puzzled because when I tried to go back, and I thought I was going back the same way I had in the past with Gemini, and then I started seeing these prices, and so I just kind of stopped at that point. I didn't pursue it. So I might have been able to find the opportunity for the free, and it just didn't show up soon enough for me.
Yeah. Maybe what it is that you had exceeded the uses of credits for that month, and so it recognizes you as a high user, and they're offering, if you want to get back into this before the month is done, here's how you can buy credits.
Oh, so they do it by the month, huh?
Yeah, if I remember right. In fact, let me go and Chester, what's your question? Is this related to what we're talking about?
Yes, and it's more of a comment than a question. And there have been several articles recently in the Wall Street Journal questioning how the AI industry is going to pay for all of the electrical generating that's going to be required, as well as the cost of these massive internet, massive, I can't recall what you call them, but the
The
browsers.
large language models.
Yes, and how all of that's going to be paid for is a real question for the future.
Absolutely. Well, and it's interesting because Chester, I kind of am falling on in this realm of, I mean, I talk about regulation a lot in tech, but I can't think of something that so obviously requires some upfront regulation. It seems like there needs to be some balance of the advantage, the value derived from the cost that it's causing.
I
It's
think one of the problems with what you're suggesting is that the regulators do not have the knowledge that's required like the developers.
right. In fact, when I talk about these things, I'm thinking that we need some kind of system that isn't dependent on understanding the technology, but having some way of evaluating the value derived for the greater good versus the cost it's costing to everyone. And it's like we need some kind of equation that we can plug situations into, determine, like I feel like the AI thing makes sense. It makes sense for us to continue to move forward with it. But there's a cost right now that is so extremely high that moving forward the way we are is stupid. It doesn't make sense for us to pay that cost. We're not getting any real value out of it at this point in this technology. And what's amazing right now is we can see that. We can absolutely see that. And there are other times in technology, in industry, where it wasn't obvious. Well, you think about the use of gasoline, gas motors, and all of that. We were really, back when we started doing that, there wasn't an obvious cost to us as a society. We didn't have the technology to monitor or understand the impact of deciding to use gas motors at that time, how it would affect us 100 years later. Now it's very obvious how it affects us, how it can create health problems and environmental problems, and we're kind of like picking up as as the horse in the cart goes down the street. We're picking up the manure that it's leaving behind, where we're after the fact trying to clean up our mess. AI thing to me is one of the first times where we're able to see way ahead of, way out front, what a cost this is, without very little, with very little value being derived from it. And the proponents of AI are telling us this is an industrial bubble. This is a moment like WorldCom, where WorldCom fell apart, but we ended up with fiber optics installed everywhere. It's one of these kind of industrial bubbles that needs to play itself out so that we can find ourselves on the other side of it, and be able to take advantage of all the things that came out of that bubble. That's what's being preached to us about this moment. It's the reason that a company that has no product and makes nothing is worth billions of dollars right now. People are investing.
The industry, excuse me.
Chester, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The industry is basically relying on the automation of production to get the benefits of the AI. And that's robotic and those types of values. But no one is considering what happens to the workers and the cost that it takes to maintain the family for those workers who are replaced. And
Well,
so
I mean, Chester,
society will be in trouble.
I mean, I apologize, but I kind of feel like that's already left the barn. I mean, we've been doing that for years. We've been doing that since the 70s. It's the reason the Japanese were able to overtake car. I mean, we've been going that route. I mean, one of the things that used to drive me crazy about raising the minimum wage is watch what McDonald's will do. You try and raise it to $15 an hour, and a lot of people will lose their jobs to kiosks because we're automating everything. And that's not necessary. I mean, it can be part of the AI equation, but the AI equation right now, the one that we should be really concerned about, is the amount of power that they're asking for. That companies like Microsoft are proposing turning on a nuclear reactor so that there's enough electricity. I'm not talking about the environmental consequences of the nuclear reactor at this moment. I'm talking about just the sheer amount of power consumption that they're proposing to make okay to do these things that they have not proven have any real value. That's the equation that I'm talking about. Is that I mean, you, I think, would agree with me. If all of a sudden cancer was gone because of these AIs, we would be like, okay, keep using that electricity till we sort this out. If all of a sudden we didn't have acid rain or whatever it is, if we didn't have land erosion, I mean, if AI actually was providing that to us right now, then we'd be like, yeah, I mean, absolutely, it's obviously making. But we're not. We're in this growth period where the evangelists of this technology are saying, just wait. We know it's boiling the oceans. We know that we need a lot of power. We know we need a lot of money to move forward. But just wait and see what's going to come out of it. I'm saying what they've shown so far doesn't warrant us just waiting. What it warrants is us saying, no, you can only do this after you've refined the technology to be less abusive. They require less electricity, require less resources, which is something that you can see just in like the deep search thing, the deep seek thing that China did. When we limited the amount of resources they had, they came up with a better product. The innovation to make a better refined
I'm not
version.
sure our views are that far apart.
What's that, Chester?
I'm not sure our views are that far apart.
Well, I would hope not, because I like to think I'm a pretty common sense kind of person. I mean, I would hope you are too. It's like, it doesn't make sense what we're doing right this moment, and I don't buy into this just wait kind of approach. Just wait is like burning through resources on this speculative value that they're creating for companies that don't do anything. I feel like we are in a bubble, and we're going to watch it burst at some point, and people are going to be financially distraught because of it. And we will not have progressed with this technology as we should have. I mean, we're really like, I mean, what's happening in the United States right now with all this money being set aside to do this stuff? We're basically saying, muscle cars. We don't want innovative, fuel efficient, Japanese car. We want muscle cars, and that's what we're going to pay for all the gas, and we're going to build up all the. I mean, if you get my metaphoric way of thinking about this, we need something that says, no, those are creating too much exhaust. They're making too much noise. They're not very efficient. All you do is just keep putting more gas in them. We need fast, reliable, efficient vehicles. I'm still with the metaphor, the car metaphor. That's where we are with AI right now. We need some kind of forward-thinking regulations that's like, you're spending way too much and getting too little out of this. We want you to stop, to slow this down and innovate. Innovate on the hardware that's creating the system, not the system itself, but the way you're producing the hardware for. Oh wow, have I talked way too much? We're a 15-minute mark until this meeting shuts down. Chester, I hope I didn't talk you out of that conversation. I appreciate your opinion on all things.
No, I'm in tune with you on this.
Maybe it's something for my digital bill of rights. I actually haven't looked at it under that light, but maybe there. I really feel like AI is enlightening us to one of the few times where we can see out into the future what we should be asking industry to be concerned about. Well, sticking on the theme of power, electricity, and resources, there is a company that I mentioned a few months ago. This EcoFlow company that is competing with Elon Musk's Powerwall. And Powerwall was, because it's Elon Musk, Powerwall was the one that was most dominant, the easiest one to find information about. And if you guys remember, the idea is a battery backup system for your house with modular batteries made of lithium ion that you could order and change yourself, or have a local service guy come and change out as these batteries had problems. EcoFlow is the same idea, but what they've done is they have their latest version of this goes up by 60%. And this is amazing, because what they're saying is that with the scale, you could be running your house for days instead of hours in a situation like you've lost power, or some disaster that you're in the midst of that is shut off your power. So they've got a 12 kilowatt system that is now going up to 36 kilowatts. They basically say it can run your AC system, you can charge your car, induction ovens. But they're saying that the battery can scale up to 180 kilowatt hours. So this is an insane increase. Yeah, here it is. This is what I was looking for. You might see it on my screen right now. If you maxed out this system, you could run an entire home for about 6 days. Their previous system, you could run an entire home for like 12 hours. So this is an amazing upgrade to the capability. They've got a video in here that's interesting if you wanted to check out some more information about this. But one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that they call this a modular system. And the Powerwall is, in a sense, that you can hot swap batteries out, they're modular. But what they're talking about here is you can grab one of these modules and take it with you. You could take this module to your summer house and plug it in there to provide power. You could take it with you in your RV and provide your RV with power. You could charge it in whatever means you have available to you to charge. So you could take it over to your summer house as backup power, plug it into the grid. So yeah, it's getting charged off of your regular power. It's not like part of a solar system. That's fine. But what it really is backup power for your entire house, available to you in a portable fashion. I find all this very intriguing as we get into the. I wonder if somebody's done the math on throwing one of these modules into the back of your EV, right? Stick it in the trunk or the or the truck bed of your electric vehicle and use it to recharge your car on the road. Well, this Delta Pro Ultra X bundle is being sold with expansion batteries for $8,000, and it goes up to almost $11,000 if you want the smart home panel. I'm not trying to sell any of this. I'm just very impressed with it. And it's one thing that we haven't seen is a lot of innovation in the Powerwall stuff. This is dramatic innovation from this company in a short period of time. A real competitor to the Powerwall. How are we doing for time? Got 10 minutes until this meeting will end, and we will bring up the next meeting until it's necessary. I stuck a couple other things in here. They're pretty easy, fast stuff, so I am looking for other topics or discussion from you folks. This first one's from CNET. I know that some of you out there are using Rokus, and this is basically the Roku guide to fixing stuttering and problems with the Roku. This is basically clearing the cache of the Roku, which is a thing that we end up doing on Amazon devices and Android devices from time to time. It gets gummed up, and clearing the cache is how you fix it from freezing and buffering and stuttering. And so I'm not going to go through all the points that they mention here, but this is where you can find it. If you have a Roku TV, I've mentioned Roku TV in the past. We've got a number of them in the breakfast. How you can reset that cache on the Roku TV. And it also talks about being able to do it using the remote. So you can take a Roku remote, and there is a key combination that will go through it. So you don't even have to go through the menuing system of the Roku. You can just do an up, down, left, right kind of key combination thing. The instructions right here for being able to clear the cache. And then it has suggestions for the specific app you might be using and how to deal with clearing the cache on that specific app if you're still having problems. Actually, this is the only way I understood how to clear the cache before I came across this article on specific apps, was to remove the app and reinstall it. And so that's possible. And then it talks about a factory reset if that's where you end up having to solve this problem. So those instructions I provide to you as a link in our document that I create this week. Unless somebody has some discussion or topic on that regard, I also wanted to mention that last week Apple gave this press release saying that your Apple Watch Series 9 or higher will now give you hypertension notification. I think this is an extremely important update. I wish my watch had this. Have heart issues, history in your family history. This is something you probably want to turn on if you've got an Apple Watch 9 or higher. Dad, you've got a 10, so if you want to turn it on, I'd recommend it. But what this will do is that if you are suffering from possible hypertension, the watch is going to send you a notification. So if you are somebody that has not been paying attention to this kind of stuff or want to make it easier, the links to this will tell you about this new system. It just got turned on for 9 and higher. I see Mom fidgeting with her watch. Hers is also a 10 or higher. You can turn that on for yourself as well, Mom. In this, there's a link to the instructions on how to turn it on. Oh, here it is. Users can set up hypertension notifications in the Health app. That page looks like this. And it's also got the criteria who can take advantage of this. Series 9 or higher, Apple Watch Ultra 2 or higher, an iPhone 11 or higher, and then you follow these instructions here to get it turned on. It also gives you some information here about what to do when you receive a notification. I would imagine if you start receiving hypertension notifications on the regular, you probably a discussion with you and your doctor. This is one more. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mom.
I was just going to say, it looks like they are perfecting it for diabetes too.
Yeah, they have. It's something that Tim Cook has been his pet thing was he wants a non-intrusive blood test or a blood sugar reader so that you can monitor glucose. You can't hear me? We lose. Oh, you know what? Maybe can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was breaking up just for you at that. No, there's still problems, huh? Can't hear me. I don't know what's going on your end, but maybe this is a good time to start the other meeting. I will open meeting 2. And maybe this is a good time to move over to meeting 2. Go to meeting 2. I will stick this link in our chat just to make it easy. Working? Won't let me send any more in-call meeting messages. So switch over to the other meeting. This is not working. Bill, Dad, Mom, move over to the other meeting. The other meeting.
They're over. I can see them.
Bill's saying
and
goodbye.
Hear you. See and
Oh,
hear
here
you.
you're right. Thank you, Chip.
Okay, Scott, I'm leaving the meeting.
Okay, Bill, we'll see you next week. Okay, how's it going over here? Can people hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. That transition can be so intrusive, I'm afraid I lost my train of thought. Does anyone want to refresh me of where we were?
Well, can't even see you.
Oh, you might want to, since it's a new meeting, you might want to pin this likeness so that when I transition to the other screen, this is the thing you're looking at is. So, we were talking about diabetes and blood sugar insulin levels, and that's been Tim Cook's pet project. He wants a insulin or a blood sugar reader built into the wearable so that you don't have to do something as intrusive as prick your finger or carry a monitor. Right now, we've seen it with Cheryl. She's got one, and I know a couple other people that have a monitor they just put on daily, and they're able to get the information. Tim Cook wants to do away with that and use all the other metrics. That's what's interesting about this hypertension monitor, is that it uses all the sensors. It uses the blood oxygen sensor and the pulse and the activity level that you're at that moment to determine whether you're suffering a moment of hypertension. It's pretty amazing. I mean, going back to that smart fabric for the road. I mean, what we're seeing at this point in time, we're collecting data from all these different sensors, external devices, and we're letting the algorithms have access to them, determine and correlate, so that we can use it for interpretation. So it's pretty amazing that you can like use the color of your skin from a digital camera, the nuances between the color of your skin to determine what your pulse is. And that's the kind of thinking that's going into all this kind of stuff. As I've gotten older, I've loved the idea of having a wearable that's very non-intrusive, that can just keep track of our metric, to know what we're at, our breathing level, our oxygen level, our pulse, and our arrhythmia, just any kind of early alert system, so that we can take advantage of where we are with modern healthcare. Well, we've reached the end of the stories that I have brought with. And at this time, we typically do things like recommend different movies or books, any of that nature. And I will open that up to you guys. If you got anything, this is the last point in this meeting to say something. Guys, whatever you want to say, this is the moment to do it. These are the guys I'm talking to. If anybody has anything they want to recommend, whether it's a website or an application. You know, we were talking about AI earlier, and I have installed in my phone Gemini as an app on my iPhone, and periodically find myself having conversations with it, vocal conversations with it. Pop, you might spend some time playing with the Gemini app. It's available for iPhone. I've not used the ChatGPT app on iPhone. Really popular. So popular, people have actually paid for it. If I was going to do a recommendation, I don't know if you've heard me mention it before, but I've become a Duolingo addict. I use Duolingo every day to help me with my Spanish, but I've been keeping it up since our European vacation. So I've been using it for French and Italian as well. And I think it's a great it's a very sticky app for me. I was using it regularly to an extent where the free tier was driving me crazy. And I paid $10 a month with a discount of $20. So I paid for a full year of it, $100, because it became an app that I was using every day. So if I was going to make a recommendation today, it would be Duolingo. I found it to be very fun. It's addictive, but it feels like it's addictive in a good way, because I'm learning foreign languages with it. Great way to use my brain. Another recommendation that I've left on our recommendations list for a long time for apps is the Smart Tube for Android. This is a YouTube app that you can install in your Fire TV or your Android device. The Smart Tube app allows you to strip advertisements out of your YouTube viewing. It gives you a YouTube presentation on the app that's very similar to what you've used for thumbnails for your videos. But when you go to watch whatever the latest Jon Stewart video is, or CNN clip, or whatever it is, it will block advertising. It'll actually jump through the video and jump past the advertising. And if you've become reliant on a free YouTube tier and getting sick of advertising, this Smart Tube app is wonderful. Yes, Chester.
I recently, every day I go to YouTube, both on the internet, in my computer, and as well as on TV. And I subscribe to their, I think they call it their premium service is like $13 or $14 a month, and all of the ads were eliminated, and I'm enjoying that very much. And
Yeah,
they also provide music, a music channel to go to as well, which I haven't tried yet.
I think that there's a strong testimony for their paid service. They're of course, part of that is their advertising has become so obnoxious that people are like, just get me out of it. I'm happy to pay to get out of it. If you're not feeling like you're economically in that position, this Smart Tube app is wonderful. Because it will block advertising. There is some things about it, such as YouTube has an offering of free to watch, advertise sponsored, free to watch movies and TV shows. You will find none of those are available on the SmartTube app. You can see them listed, but you're not able to watch them. However, the other sponsored stuff, the YouTube ad system, where you're watching a video and all of a sudden it redirects to a video ad and then it redirects back to what you're watching. That's what you are able to bypass with this app. If I were to sell this app to you, the other things that are interesting about it are your ability to tailor your experience for what's important to you in the menu, as well as your ability to dial up and down the quality of content that you're watching. I don't mean in the sense of your personal preference. I mean as far as HD 4K versus low end VGA or 240p K, 240p, as well as sound, as well as the audio that goes along with the video. You have complete control over which particular version of the video you're watching. And this could be crucial if you're on a bandwidth limited connection, or even a metered connection. They got fast internet, but you don't have much of it, or you pay by the gigabyte for it. You might want an app like this. Say, well, I'm only looking at it on my phone, so I don't need a 4K video version of YouTube. I could dial it down to 360 or 480p and be very happy with it on my phone, and then I'm not using so much internet, and it's not costing me much. So there's a lot of reasons besides excluding advertising. Use this SmartTube app for YouTube. Very easy. That's one of my recommendations. Duolingo's another one. Does anybody else out there have any recommendations before we call this meeting to an end? Anything you're doing recently that you found useful? I guess I also recommended Gemini as an app. I should stick that because I find myself going to it.
I have one.
Yeah, please, Chester. What do you want to recommend?
Recently, I told you I watch a lot of YouTube, and there was one that came up on how to set your iPhone so that you don't get tracked by anyone. You don't get tracked by Google. You don't get tracked, TRACKED. And I did all the things that they said to do so that nobody is tracking me. That's just something you want to look up.
That's awesome. Chester, do you have a link to that YouTube?
No, I'm sorry. Once I did it, I walked away.
If you happen across it again, please send it on, and I'll take a look to see if I can't find something. Cheryl's here to give recommendations, I'm certain. we have gone through the rest of our articles, and so now you've reached us at a time when we're doing recommendations. I have recommended SmartTube, Duolingo, and the Gemini iPhone app. I haven't used Gemini on an Android device, so I don't know whether that's worth recommending. But as you know, Cheryl, this is time to recommend anything. So do you have any books, videos, movies, YouTube video? Go ahead.
I have to look up my no, my phone's not letting me do that. I've been watching all kinds of things, but do you think I can remember anything that I've I'm just trying to think. I've been watching a couple of series and stuff, but it's sort of mindless watch at night with all the things that have been going on, waiting for passports, wondering if we're going to be able to go, trying to organize visits with Bill's brother and our kids, and people dealing with mums being in hospital. And it's just been another one of those friggin' months. It's just, so I do watch a lot of things, and I kind of remember that I was entertained, but I can't think of it. But the one thing about entertainment, I think the loss of Diane Keaton is just terrible. I have enjoyed her in so many things. Just recently, I rewatched Book Club 2, and I understand there is a Book Club 3 that they've already made, and she's in it, so it just hasn't been released yet. So I'm going to be looking forward to watching that. But yeah, I think it's a big loss.
Yeah, I think we all feel that. We're all big movie fans. I know it was just, I mean, I spent part of the afternoon just going through a feed of different things, just honoring her. It was touching and sad. Great actress.
Yeah, she was a quirky little thing, and it was kind of fun. Even as recently as, like, she was on Murders in the Building. You know, she had a bit part in one of their seasons, and
Wow.
you know, she's been doing things really recently with Jane Fonda, and then you go back to her old stuff. Like, she just was in a lot of things. So
Well, and didn't they say she passed away from cancer? Is that right?
I don't know that I have seen anything. It just says that she knew she was sick and that she kept herself private and out of the eye of the public for the last, 3 months.
That's really interesting. Chadwick Boseman was that way. He knew he was sick, and he kept making movies and kept all the way up until it was a complete surprise when he passed away.
Well, yeah. And to her co-stars, you know, so you know, if you can believe what they're saying, but yeah, you know, so it was pretty sad.
Hey, as you were mentioning this, what occurred to me is that I have just finished watching The Pit. We're getting ready for season 2, and people had been saying, "Oh, it's good. You should check it out," and I had not bothered until recently, and it is captivating. It's one of those that you intend to sit down and watch a show, and you end up watching 4 in a row and going to bed really late at night. Just binged through it. Part of it's the format. The format, it's not episodic. It's serial, and it is hour by hour in an emergency.
Yeah,
it's just so much stuff going on, so much character development in what would be the atmosphere of a very short period of time. It was just really well done.
I just remembered the name of the one. I call them mini series, hey, because the whole story, it's a biography, Drop Out, and it's the story of Elizabeth Holmes, I believe is her name.
Yeah.
Holmes. Yeah.
That's a Netflix, right?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Setback women in Silicon Valley trying to be entrepreneurial or get things going, for sure, because she just lied. She tried
I was gonna say she's just a grifter.
Oh, she tried to make herself over and become more like Steve Jobs, dressing like him and lowering her voice so that when she spoke in meetings, like just all of these weird things. Quite the life story, and I think a very well done biography of the whole events and stuff. But
Yeah, but she
we
definitely got wrapped up in the selling of the idea more than the technology of the idea, to the point where she was just a grifter. She was just conning people out of money.
And there's something about a mental disorder or some sort of a condition where she absolutely had no empathy. She had no feeling. She supposedly was in love. She was supposedly, do these different things, but every emotion was, and then they talked about her being raped in her first year at Stanford and how that influenced things. So there was a lot about Me Too. There was a lot about women in technology, women in business. There was a lot of things in there, and
Now,
I'd never heard of her,
if
so that was really cool.
well, I'm very aware of her just because of what went on in the tech world, the amount of valuation her company had so quickly, the buzz around her as she was rising to prominence. It was
Yeah.
it was a big deal.
And I really liked the idea of the medical testing being able to be done with a drop of blood. Like I really bought into it for a bunch of different things. So
Yeah, this
yeah,
is the same. I was just Googling to make sure we're talking about the same thing I've already watched. This came out in 2020.
yeah, it's an older one, but oh, Chester's got a hand
What's
up.
up, Chester? Chester, you got a recommendation?
One thing about being old like me is that very often you can't remember. You've seen a movie, but you can't remember the whole thing. And I experienced that the other night watching the movie The Lincoln Lawyer. And it was just so delightful after I couldn't remember, but I've seen it before, of course.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Once Upon a Time in the West, which is the spaghetti movies. And I love the music from that.
The Lincoln Lawyer. Have
And
you
Once Upon a Time in the West.
Once Upon a Time in the West? Did going back to that, did the movie inspire you to go check out the TV series?
No, but I intend to. Yeah, it did inspire me. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what was
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Western again, Chester? One time.
Once Upon a Time in the West. It's a 3-hour movie.
That would have been controversial, a 3-hour movie.
And it's
It's an older film too.
it's called a spaghetti western.
kind of in the genre of Unforgiven, and Unforgiven was that long as well. The movies, the westerns were the ones that made the long movies.
Yeah, long drawn out stories.
Well, they
Yes,
had
with
to spend so
nothing
much
to
time
say.
riding
Have you
around the horse.
noticed? Westerns don't say much.
Yeah, they sometimes give you a look at something, but they don't go very deep into it. You're right about spaghetti western, but the music, Chester, you mentioned music. The music from the old Clint Eastwood movies, like all those soundtracks are really cool.
Yes.
Last night I went downstairs. There's a group of men and one woman. She plays the piano and she looks like Patsy Montana. If you guys know that, but anyway, she just dresses Western and she does that, and they do all the 50s, 60s. Last night, I think they actually did a song from the 80s, but all the old Westerns. A lot of them are, church, old rugged cross kind of things, but a lot of them are polkas because there's an accordion player, and it was a real flashback. But Bill only made it about 45 minutes, and he said they ain't playing no Beatles or CCR in this establishment. Had to leave.
One that comes to mind where the music was I love the music because it's Civil War, but it's John Wayne's called The Searchers,
Oh,
and
The
it's
Searcher.
one of his most famous movies. And it's got a famous Civil War song as the basis in that movie. But it's the best. I consider it the best John Wayne ever produced.
Huh. Yeah, some of the soundtracks, I think about that. We used to, have albums that were soundtracks from movies, and just
Yeah,
brought up.
the name of the song is Lorena.
Ah.
And the Civil War, the both armies would sing that song at night across the picket lines, because particularly at the end of the war, it became so sad. I'm going, bye-bye.
All right, Chester. We'll see you next week. I guess we are at the end of this meeting, unless there's anything else to say, or a week hold your peace. What's up?
Sandy, I was just looking at your pup there. Remember when you got her? Is it her?
Him.
Yeah,
Max.
when you got him. But
Boy, Max.
you Max, there you go. He looked like he was listening to me and just looking right into the camera. It was kind of cute. But we went for a Thanksgiving dinner, and like there were, about 9 people and 6 dogs, and there was one little wee one about the size of Max, and the others were all standard poodles and great big huge dogs in this little house. And so we really went to the dogs, but yeah. So, and I see Yulia's got a fundraiser coming up. She sent me an invite to, and it happens to be our anniversary, and we will be in San Carlos. So I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because I should probably be saying that and didn't. Don't I have an events thing here? This is the Rotary Bingo Night. Is that right? Is that the event that you're referring to, Cheryl? Ooh, did we lose Cheryl? Cheryl's frozen. Well, I believe it's the Rotarian Bingo Night. But I do not remember what night it's supposed to be on. She just showed me my tickets to it, and I don't remember what. Oh, no, I do. It's the 10th of November. There, I've done my job. November 10th.
We won't be there yet.
Here comes Cheryl. Cheryl, look, there's another Cheryl.
Yay.
Well, I tell you what happened was our power went off. We've been having a very strange thing happening in our condo, and we have to go look into this. But anyway, the power just blinked, and it takes out our one bedroom where the modem is. So I'm on my phone using data, and my computer is dead. Bill went down to the pool room downstairs because it's his time to play pool with the guys, and that's what happened to me. I just, in the middle of you saying I should be sharing, it went bonk and gone.
Well, you can tell me. I think we're talking about the Rotary Bingo Night.
Yeah, now it looks like it's a fundraiser. Is it a fundraiser for like the program that Viviana went to Paris on?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, I believe so. I really, boy, this is horrible. I don't have any of those details. I should probably have those. I was going to ask you, is it November 10th? That's what I remember.
Yeah, yes.
November
yes,
10th. And
is.
then is it going to be at Alex's place? Is it at Colibri?
Yeah, it's Monday, November 10th, and he's always closed on Monday, but he opens up for events on those days. Yeah. So it's Monday, November 10th. I think I saw 400 pesos in advance, 450 at the door. Supper included, and a bingo event. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've done the best I can.
There we go. Because on the poster it said something about education and medical needs for seniors and students. So I don't know what kind of programs it is, but
well,
it looks like a worthy cause.
You know, one of the things that they do is that they sponsor doctors to come and do hearing tests and provide hearing devices for people. So it could very well be related to that. They have a big,
Right.
yeah, they have like a 3-day thing where doctors come down and they're just it's like an open house for anybody that needs their hearing checked and devices. They help them find devices.
And I think are they part of the dental one too? Because
Say again?
just when there was a dental clinic that was set up, and the last time I knew about it was COVID was announced.
I'm not
You know,
certain.
we were.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
were
familiar.
Ready to volunteer.
Yeah, the ear thing that I've been out there. I mean, I've brought kids over there. I've stayed with kids as they were working. Rotary kids are working it as well, helping the doctors, translating and filling out paperwork for people. Just being assistants. So the foreign exchange kids that come here end up being volunteers for those kinds of activities. So because we had a foreign exchange kid, I ended up getting wrapped into. Well, so I've never done a dentist thing, but I've done the ear thing twice.
Okay. And is Yuya a Rotarian now?
Yeah, she is. She's absolutely. I mean, she has been since we started getting BB involved in it. She's been a Rotarian. This will be her 3rd year being a Rotarian. And so she's gotten involved in all this as far as planning and organizing. She's putting all her UYA skills towards Rotary now.
Good for her. And I understand the last event was so much fun. Leslie and Bobby were talking about it, and everybody was saying how much fun it was. So. Yeah,
apparently it went off real well. Oh yeah, I guess I was there. Yeah, that was good. Well, guys, I'm gonna say goodbye and call this meeting to an end. It's always good to see your faces, and I'll look forward to it next week. Cheryl, will you be with us next week in Mexico or online?
I might be. We at 8:30 in that morning we're getting our last vaccinations, and then that afternoon we have to bottle and bag a wine kit at my friend's farm. So I'm not sure, but in between the two we might be able to log in.
Cool. And Mom, I think you guys are still in Alaska next week. Is that right? When do you head down to Phoenix?
We'll go on the 1st.
Oh, okay. All right. Very cool.
We'll be in Tucson the night of the 3rd, November 3rd, and come into San Carlos the morning of the 4th.
Oh, great. Well, Jim has been licking his lips to get into a computer club meeting, and I've had to cancel on him the last 2 weeks because of problems at Tequilas. We're going to try again this next Tuesday. And if you're not in this meeting, maybe you're watching on YouTube, but it will be open. Please, if you're not on our mailing list, get on our mailing list so you can get a last-minute update of whether we actually are going to meet in person or. But it's.
And I'm going to remind you that the one time when we left Tequilas, we went over to Alex's and we had a meeting in the back room at his place.
Oh yeah, that's true. That did work fairly well.
Yeah. And he's always open to those kind of things. So.
Well, who knows? I mean, if there was more of us in town right now, if it was more than just me and Jim, I don't know who else is going to show up for a meeting. Then we probably would be looking for a different venue. Right now, though, it's just a virtual meeting.
And on the 4th, we will be at the border crossing probably while you're having your meeting on November 4th, but we will be there for the next one. So.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, have a good week, and until next Tuesday, tech on.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, there we go. We did it again. That was the San Carlos Computer Club. We meet every Tuesday at 10 Arizona time. That's also Sonoran time if you're in Mexico. Our group is made up of mostly elderly nerds that have some tie to our community in San Carlos, Sonora, Mexico. That does not exclude anyone. Anyone that might be interested in part of these discussions. is welcome to join us. Just get a hold of me, Scott at scclub.org, and I'll get back to you. And if you are looking for IT support in any capacity remotely out there on the internet, well, keep me in mind. My business, internationalcs.net, International Computer Solutions at international.net. This is a business that prides itself on IT, being IT specialist, and doing remote work as well as working and collaborating in teams remotely. So if you've got something out there that you think we might be a good fit for, reach out to me, Scott at internationalcs.net. Until next Tuesday, everyone on that side of the internet, tech on.